Good morning, everyone, and I want to thank you for joining me for another Saturday morning share. So today I'm going to be using watercolor paper. So the Artist Loft watercolor paper is what I buy. It's from Michaels, and it's a pretty decent watercolor paper that comes in a paper pack that's pretty inexpensive. So I cut my panel down to 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, and I started using the Paper Hugs stamp set from Simon Says Stamp, which came in the January card kit. And I'm using the heart stamp set, or stamp, sorry, to create a repeating pattern along the bottom. And I'm using Simon Says Stamp a clear embossing powder, which also came in the card kit. And I'm heat embossing those stamped images. Next, I used my Simon Says Stamp stitch rectangle, and I used one of the medium-sized rectangles, and I die cut it out of vellum and then again out of pink cardstock that was also in the card kit. I believe it's Simon Says Stamp cardstock. Now I'm just going to use the greeting from that stamp set. So that's the Will You Be My Valentine stamp, and I'm just stamping that in Versamark, and then I'll be using white embossing powder to finish off the greeting. So once I emboss it, then I'm going to start working on layering the two tags. So I'm going to just use a hole punch and eyeball where the center is, and this will create a tag that I'm going to be using in the center of my card. Now I just wanted to hold it down. The vellum started to curl a little bit after I used the heat embossing, so I'm just using some Zig 2-way pen glue in order to tack it down a little bit behind the text on the stamp, and use that to just secure it and keep the vellum flat. Then I'm just using some embroidery thread to just finish off the tag look. And then I'm going to put the tag aside. So now I'm taking my watercolor piece, and this is the same piece that I stamped and embossed my hearts on. So now I'm just soaking the page generously with water, because I want to allow the colors to blend kind of a little bit on their own and bleed into the paper. So first I tried this with some Simon Says Stamp ink, and it didn't really, the color really dispersed. It didn't really have, it had a grainy appearance. You can't really see it on camera, but it didn't create a soft look. So I went to my Distress inks, and I kind of covered up what I had done with the Simon Says Stamp ink, and then went in with my distressed ink. So the first color I believe I used is Festive Berries, and I just kind of liberally dabbed my brush on there and try and get the color. The next color I used was Worn Lipstick, which is a pinkish reddish color. But I did find that this color provided next to no difference in color contrast between the Festive Berries when used in this technique. So I brought in my favorite distressed ink color, which is Dusty Concord, and that nice rich purple provided the contrast I was looking for against the reds. The one thing I did note is that as it dries, the color is definitely lighter than when you start. So once I had done and gotten kind of the pattern I was looking for, I then went and just took my mister bottle and dabbed some water onto my piece. And because I used Distress ink, those water spots actually activate the ink and allow it to be pulled off the paper, giving that more of a textured look to the watercolor piece. Once I had done that, then I went back in with some more Dusty Concord, and I just kind of got it good and saturated on my brush, and I just kind of flicked it over the bottom right hand corner just to add additional interest to the background. Then I dried it with my heat gun and I put it aside because I wanted it to flatten out a little bit. I also knew that I wanted to give a little accent to my my card. And so normally when I want to get a little bit of an enamel look on chipboard pieces or wood veneer, I use enamel accents, but that takes a ton of time to dry. So I thought I'd try embossing it. So that's what I did. I put some Versamark directly onto the wood veneer and embossed that. And then a couple times actually in order to get the glossy look that I wanted. So then I brought my tag back and I used some foam adhesive to adhere it. And I'm now just using some multimedia matte to secure my embroidery thread. I just don't like it hanging all over the place. I kind of want it to have a natural flow, but to be secured to the card base. And that is perfect. Multimedia matte's perfect for that because it dries clear. So lastly, I'm bringing in my embossed hearts and some sequins that I got from Neat and Tangled as a thank you. And I'm just attaching the sequins and the heart with some multimedia matte, which is a great adhesive for these sorts of embellishments. Once that's done, I decided to make my card base the same watercolor paper just to make it a consistent appearance throughout. And the watercolor paper I use is 140 pounds, so it's sturdy enough to be a card base. And that's the card for today. I want to thank you for watching and have a great Saturday. Bye.